wasn't happening. But I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the Daily Credit Report Live here in the Free Credit Repair Advice Group. Now, this is a live broadcast that we do each and every evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, I'd like to welcome you all. We're going to let the room fill up just a bit. Everyone, let me know how the audio is. I guess we had some audio issues before, but every single night, you're going to be able to see Daily Credit Report on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. This is all sponsored by Credilife Financial Wellness. Credilife, credit service organization, work in credit repair, credit development. Basically, long story short, Credilife exists to help get you to your goals and to really change lives. Now, while the room is filling up here a little bit, I'm going to do a personal plug. If you'd like to have me as your FICO certified credit coach, remember you should always look for FICO certification when you're picking a credit company, when you're picking a coach. Always ask your coach, hey, are you FICO certified? The answer should be yes. But if you'd like to have me as your FICO certified credit coach, just go to www.bookcoachjd.com, and you can pick a day, an evening, a weekend for a consultation. And there's no cost for the initial consult. The consult is to see if you're a fit. It's to talk to you about your goals, talk about your credit, and put together a plan and steps and action items that can be put into place to get your score and profile in position to qualify for your goals. So if you'd like to have me, FICO certified Credilife coach, founder of the Free Credit Repair Advice Group, as your personal coach, go to www.bookcoachjd.com. All right, so I want to thank you for joining us tonight for the Daily Credit Report Live. So tonight's topic, I based it off of a lot of the talk in the Free Credit Repair Advice Group. A lot of people have been asking questions about the letters, investigation letters, about follow-up letters, about how am I supposed to send this, why, about the investigation process and all of that. So tonight we're going to talk about trying to delete negative information off of your credit report. Yes, it can be done. How many rounds? Perfect. All right. Francesco, do me a favor because I know you're paying attention. Let me know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure my audio is 100% because we started out and apparently I was miming for a little bit of it. But again, we're going to talk about how to delete negative information off your credit report. We're going to talk about letters, letter structure, why it works, and how it takes more than one round. We're going to talk about how it works when it comes to the laws, why it works, the actual process involved, the letters, what they mean, and what structure they should have. You can hear me? Awesome. I'm loud. My guess was some of you could probably hear me before the microphone was even working from wherever you're located. But first thing I want to dive into, okay, so people take a look at their credit. Now, we all know that credit's not just made of bad. It can feel like it sometimes when we look at it and we see a lot of derogatory items, but we know that good things make up our credit as well. And it's important to do development, but at the core of credit repair is actually repairing the report itself. It's how to eliminate these negative items. So I want to go into this a little bit with you. So if you are trying to delete negative information off of your credit report, the very first thing you really need to know is, how does this work? You know, can I just call them up and say, hey, would you please delete this? And they go, sure, we love you. You're awesome. You're a big fat bald guy in a blue shirt. We'll take all that off for you, right? No, that's not how it works. Okay. The reason credit repair and credit service organizations, and you guys doing the investigations and all of that, the reason it works to begin with is because there are some laws on the books, okay? Now, I'm going to back us up to the basics here, and this is a talk I haven't done for quite a while, so I would recommend you guys settle in. If you know anyone who could benefit from this one, this is probably going to be valuable for you. So, we've got 3 credit bureaus out there, okay? Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, these are companies, private companies. They are called bureaus, like the Federal Bureau of Investigations is called a bureau, but they're no more official than Nike, Reebok, and Converse. It's just literally Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion is 3 large companies. Now, these are for-profit companies. They are mercenaries. They are not missionaries. And one thing to remember when you're dealing with these is you are not the customer. You are the commodity. You are what they're buying and selling it. Well, not you physically. They're not going, hey, you want to buy a big fat bald guy in a blue shirt with glasses? And they go, yes, I'd love one of them. Please sell me Jeremy. That's not how that works, okay? But what they're doing is they're buying and they're selling data, information. So these three credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, they keep the info on me and you, LaDonna, I see you, all of you out there. Okay, they keep the information on 350 million people. All right, that's a lot of people. They keep the info on 350 million people. They get that information on average from 20 different sources per person per month. So that's 20 times 350 million persons times 3 bureaus. That's like 1 billion pieces of data. No, that's far more than that. Billions of pieces of data, close to 20 billion actually, each and every month, okay? If they wanted, if they were compelled to, if they were made to verify even 1% of that information they get each month, the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, they'd need 1 million employees. A credit report would cost you 50 grand. It's not reasonable. It's not feasible. It's not possible to verify all that data coming in, okay? It's not possible. But here's the deal. It has to operate that way because the banks need a way to determine if you are a good person to lend money to or not. They need to be able to figure out how likely is it you'll default if we lend you $30,000 for a car. So these credit the credit reports, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, those bureaus, they're necessary. So the problem we run into is when LaDonna or Jess, when Michelle or Derek, Francesco, or even Jeremy, when we go out to apply for a car or apply for a credit card, where do they go to check us out? They go to the world's largest repository of unverified, unvalidated data, the credit bureaus. Remember, not a lick of it. Not one bit of that data is verified or validated. They simply publish whatever they're paid to publish. And that wouldn't be important if credit wasn't used for anything. But credit's used for everything these days. And it's not just getting that car. It's not just getting the credit card. It's not just getting a house. They're using it for background checks for jobs. They're using it for security clearance. They're using it to determine if you can get an apartment, right? Or all kinds of things. They even use it to help determine your insurance rates in some states. So where do they go to check you out? Where do they go to say, is LaDonna any good? Is Jess any good? Michelle any good? Is Derek any good? Francesco, are you any good? They go to the world's largest repository of unverified, unvalidated data to make major life decisions about you. And that isn't fair. It's not fair to be judged on unverified info. And we get that. But the problem is 350 million people times 3 different bureaus times 20 different sources per month per person. So there's a middle ground there. Now, Congress passed a law, okay? They passed a law called the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The FCRA, it allows us to do a bunch of stuff. It allows you as a consumer to do a bunch of stuff. But in an oversimplified way, the main thing it lets us do is it lets us go to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, those bureaus that are keeping all this unverified data, and say, hey guys, with all due respect, prove it. Prove it. Prove it's mine. Prove it's real. Prove it's true. Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. And if you cannot verify and validate and document that every single thing on the credit report is 100% accurate and factual and current and correct and verifiable today, not back when it was repeated, but today, okay? If they can't verify, validate, and document that it's all accurate, factual, current, correct, verifiable today, then by law, it's permanently deleted, gone, like it never happened from the credit profile. Now, it doesn't mean the debt's gone. If you owe someone $1, you still owe them $1. But what it means is their ability to report to the world's largest repository of unverified data, that goes away. And that's very, very powerful, okay? Because that could be what's holding you back from a good rate on the car, like Vanessa's talking about. That could be what's holding you back from getting a home. That could be what, is stopping you from getting that job you want, okay? So that's the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. And that law is what allows investigation to seek deletion of negative information on your credit report, okay? So essentially, if they can't prove it, they have to remove it. If they can't prove it, they have to remove it. So that's how it works. Now, why it works is really the process that's involved in it, okay? So you'll hear us in the free credit repair advice group, or those of you who've been wise enough to reach out and get yourself a FICO certified credit coach. Those of you who are smart enough to do that, not just hire any Joe Blow, but get someone who's FICO certified, you'll have heard that we want to do investigations. We want to do investigations. Maybe you heard about rounds, how many rounds it's going to take. You hear about the letters, how many Here's the thing. The method of investigating with the bureaus, there is a right way to do it, and there's a few wrong ways to do it. The wrong way to do it is electronically. If you go on Credit Karma or MyFICO, or as I call it, MyFICO, because those aren't your real scores. They're not your lending scores. So you go on MyFICO, or you go on Experian app, or any of those other substandard credit monitoring sites. Or even if you go directly to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, if you do online disputes with them, online investigations, you actually give up a number of your consumer protections and a number of your consumer rights. One of the main ones basically boils down to this. You do it online. You do an online dispute, and they delete an item. You got it deleted. You think you're king cock of the walk because you got something deleted from your credit profile. Bad news for you. The very next time that creditor, same credit company, same collection company, same people, the very next time that creditor reports to the bureaus, that's going to show back up. Because you've done it electronically, you gave up your rights to have that sucker permanently gone. That's the primary reason, that and a few other consumer protections, they're the primary reason we tell you to do this in writing. You want to use old school, snail mail, paper letters to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Think about this. You're trying to paper trail this, right? So if you're trying to paper trail something, it makes a lot of sense for you to use paper. It's that simple. We're trying to paper trail this. We're trying to get good documentation. Doing it in writing like that, you do not give up any of your consumer rights. So here's the process. The process is you go and you get a copy of your credit report from somewhere like smartcreditvip.com. smartcreditvip.com. You can get a smart credit monitoring. It's $22 a month from there. It's a very intensive 3-bureau report with all the details that you need to do effective ongoing rounds of investigation. Okay. So you've got your credit report and you're going to go through, and I'm old school. I love to print it and take a highlighter and highlight everything that's negative, everything derogatory, everything that's bad, all the things that are costing us points, right? So you're going to go through and you're going to identify all the things. All right. Those are the items, those negatives, those late payments, those charge-offs, those collections. Those are the items that are going to be subject to investigation. Those are what you're going to write about in your letters to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, you're going to go after all of the negative accounts all at the same time. There is no law stopping you. You've got a goal, and you're not going to get there if you drag your feet. And if you're anything like me, I'm not a terribly patient fella. I don't see why any of you should be, especially if you're not even a fella, right? So you make these letters. You type them up. You may have heard people say, oh, handwrite it. Do it in colors because they won't be able to scan. That's all B as in B, S as in S, okay? Type them up. You want it clear. You want it concise. You want it easy to read. You're going to mail these things off. Now, you notice I didn't say get them notarized because that's nonsense and unnecessary. You're going to mail these letters off to Equifax, to Experian, and TransUnion. The way in the process here, the way you mail them is by putting them in an envelope, addressing them, and putting on a stamp. Well, shouldn't I send it certified to get a return receipt? No, because most post office boxes have difficulty writing their names because they're not people, they're post office boxes. So no one's going to be signing for that in that post office box. So professionally, what we do is we put a stamp on the envelope. I recommend you do the same. Now, if you do want to spend a ton of extra money just for no reason and like you would send it certified, I recommend do the stamp anyway and then send the extra money to Credilife, care of Jeremy, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I will gladly take your money. If you feel like really just pissing it away. But no, realistically though, you want to do this in writing. Old school snail mail, paper letters. That's the process. You mail it off to the bureaus. Now the bureaus receive your investigation letters, okay? So when they get these, the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, legally have 5 business days to notify all of the creditors in question that they must provide verification, validation, and documentation that everything that's on there is 100% accurate and factual, current and correct and verifiable today, not back when they reported it, but today. Now, the creditors themselves, it could be Capital One, it could be Midland Collection Company, it could be whomever. The creditors themselves receive these demands from the bureaus, and they legally have 30 calendar days to respond not to you, but to the bureaus, because it's the bureaus who asks them. You ask the bureaus ask the creditors. So they've got 30 calendar days to respond back to the bureaus with all the verification, validation, documentation that it's accurate, factual, current, correct, verifiable today. Now, if they fail to reply in 30 days or less, if they fail to reply at all, or if what they reply with doesn't satisfy the specificity and the minutia of the aspect of the account that you asked about, then the bureaus determine it unverifiable, and by law, it's permanently deleted, gone from your credit profile. Again, it doesn't mean the debt's gone. If you owe a guy $1, you still owe a guy $1, but their ability to report it to the world's largest repository of unverified, unvalidated data, the bureaus, that goes away, and that's super powerful. Now, the bureaus figure out either it's verified or it's not. They take about 7 to 10 business days to send you a result letter. Now, they consolidate all of what you asked about. Like TransUnion will consolidate. You could ask about 50 accounts. They'll consolidate it into one letter. And Experian, same thing. You can ask about 29 accounts, consolidate one letter. And Equifax, same thing. So they're going to consolidate them. So it doesn't look like you just got a fan club and mailman's wondering what you're up to or anything. But you're going to get 3 letters in the mail, and they look like junk mail. They are very plain window envelopes. They don't even say Experian, TransUnion, Equifax on them. They look like junk mail, but they're not junk mail. They're very important mail because they tell you what happened, and that can help direct you on what to do next. So when we talk about a round of investigation, every round takes about 45 days, give or take. Round 1 can be exciting, because if things are easy to get rid of, a lot of times they will go away because they were easy to get rid of. But I fully expect some of them may verify and validate and document, especially if they think they got skin in the game, if they think there's money to be made. So if that happens, what do? Well, you send another round. You send more letters. You ask about different aspects of the account. This is when you go back and you look at those result letters, because maybe what they responded with, maybe it raised a question, or maybe what they responded with, maybe it showed a weakness, or maybe what they responded with kind of said, hey, Jeremy, guess what? Good luck to you, but you're barking up the wrong tree and need to do something else. But every result is a good result. You either get what you're after, which is that deletion, or a little bit of a clue, a hint, on a roadmap on how to get what you're after. So every result's a good result. So that's why it works. That's what the process is. The letters, what they mean, what's done in these letters. These letters, you want to structure them in such a way where it's, to whom it may concern, or dear Equifax, or however you want to put. I am writing you because I've got some questions about some accounts on my credit report that you are currently reporting. And if you look, by the way, if you go to the Files tab, or if you go to the Units tab of the Free Credit Repair Advice Group, you'll find some sample letter templates there. If you buy the Credit Flood, you go to www.creditflood.com, you get basically like the free templates, but on steroids. You get some really good versions of them there. Or if you've hired Credilife, we do them professionally, and that's going to be custom tailored. And that's going to be, it's like a good, better, best. That'd be the best. But these things are going to say, dear so-and-so, I got some questions. Then it's going to list out the accounts that you've got questions on. And then you're going to pick an aspect like, verify to me that this was indeed 30 days late, or I demand that you remove the late mark from my credit. Validate to me that this really was the date of last payment, or I demand that you delete this collection from my credit. And then literally of so-and-so, we always like to put little legalese on there. You'll see it in templates. And then sincerely, your name. And when you send this thing, you're going to include 3 forms of ID. You're going to include driver's license or state ID. You're going to do a copy of your social security card. Unless you don't have it, then you're going to use the front page of last year's taxes. And then you're going to send a utility bill or a cell phone bill or a voided check or a bank statement to demonstrate your address. And you mail them off to the bureaus. It's a 45-day cycle. This is how it's done. This is how to delete negative information off your credit report. You're not asking the same question twice. You're changing it up. You're going after different aspects. You're using the result letters as a guide to guide you down the road. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you all? By the way, if you would like a professional coach to work on this for you, go to www.bookcoachjd.com or click the link in the description of this video, and you can have me as your coach. We'll pick a day, evening, or a Saturday morning, do a consultation, talk about your goals, and put together a plan, a set of steps, and some action items to get your score and profile in position for those goals. So www.bookcoachjd.com. Let's dive into the comments and see if you guys, I want to open this up to questions. What questions do you have about the investigations? What questions do you have about getting things deleted from your credit profile? Let's start with Francesco. Jeremy, how many rounds to get late payments on open accounts removed? Well, somewhere between 1 and infinity. That's the actual answer. Based on what I explained, hopefully you'll understand why I said that. It can take multiple rounds, but basically you're following a path and going after different aspects each time. Also, what do the letters contain in the rounds? They're going to contain different aspects of the accounts. They're going to contain maybe a question of the balance, a question of the account number, a question of the date of last activity, a question of the date of first delinquency, a question of the address associated with the account, a question of the current status of the account, and they'll have different ones each time. Great question. All right, you guys can hear me? Excellent, excellent. LaDonna says, hi, hello. Vanessa says, I overpaid my car payment for a long time. We didn't pay the last few months because we were over on the payments. Is my credit going to be affected? Oh, that's a great question. I have no idea. You're going to want to give your car company a call because they may have taken those overpayments and applied them to the balance, bringing the balance down. Or they may have called those advance payments and applied them to further payments down the road. You have got to call your automotive financer. You have got to call them and say, hey, looks like we overpaid for the longest time. Now I haven't paid. Can we get that, make sure we're kind of get that squared away? And honestly, with COVID and things right now, they've been automotive companies, credit card companies, they've been working with people. Communication's key. Reach out. But your credit may not be affected by that. Hey, Carmen says, hold on, I should be sponsored. Monster should be like, I should be like, this delicious monster. And then they should give me, I don't know, more monster or something. So hang on a sec. It matches my shirt. Look at that, guys. I'm coordinating today. All right, anyway, Carmen says, so I send out validate letters to collection agency first, then investigation letters to the credit bureaus. No, Carmen, you send them all simultaneously. So we talked about investigation letters to the bureaus. There are also validation letters, otherwise known as 609 letters. There's a copy of that in the file section, the unit section. There's a template. There's a heavier template in Credit Flood at creditflood.com. And we use some badass stuff back at Credilife because, Because we're Credilife, because we're awesome is why. So you send out validation letters first, then investigations? No, I send them all at the exact same time. I'm a big believer in pound them from all angles at once. There's no law stopping you. You got goals. You're not going to get there if you drag your feet. And if you're like me, I'm not a terribly patient guy. Those of you who've been in the group may have noticed that. Great questions. I love it. Francesca says, what happens if they spelled your name wrong? Is that grounds for deletion? Nah. I mean, you can try, but no, it's not. It really isn't grounds for deletion at all. Like if now Francesco, you like, let's say you send it off and you go, hey, my name's Francesco, and you have it under the name Bill Johnson. That's a reason to get it deleted because that's like not even you. But if they just biffed your name, you can try. Definitely not the first thing I'd go for. All right. Cartwright says, hey, Jeremy, I have accounts outside of 2 years. Does it make sense that you always? There's this 2-year thing. People get real excited about 2 years. Yeah, no, 2 years is challenge them. Absolutely challenge them. See if you can get them deleted. Zambia says, hi, Jeremy. Hey, how you doing? I sent my letters to the bureaus on May 6th. And received an email, that's half your problem right there, on May 25th informing me my disputes were now open. Today I received a disputes letter from Experian. The letter listed several of the accounts were still pending with a completed projection date of June 12th and 18th. Is that acceptable? Yeah, that'd be like that 45-day thing. But whoever sent you an email, close out your account with them because they are still sending you electronic stuff. When you open these Experian accounts and Equifax accounts and TransUnion accounts, you are literally, in the terms of service, giving up a ton of your consumer protections and rights. I say close those suckers out. Emmanuel says, hello, is removing repos from credit possible? Not only is it possible, we do it all the time. And there is a specific repo letter in the credit flood at www.creditflood.com. There's a specific repo template to send there, and then obviously you do the investigation letters to the bureaus. Yes, it is definitely possible. Is it Sierra or? Yeah, it's probably Sierra. I'm going to go with Sierra. And Sierra, if I said your name wrong, well, now your name's Sierra. I don't know. Do the investigation letters work for bankruptcies also? Yes, they do. Here's the deal about bankruptcy. Here's what's cool about it. The public record, the bankruptcy public record, everyone's like, oh my God, it says bankruptcy. I need that deleted. How much will my score go up? Bad news. Public records don't impact your score in the FICO algorithm. It's the stuff that went into it that impacts your score. Also, if you get it deleted from your credit profile, they will still be able to find it if they do like a name search for you, a public record search for you, for like a mortgage or title work, or for like a background check. Why? Because it's a public record. Well, what if I suppress it in Lexis? It's a public record. By its name, they'll always be able to find it. But now here's the flip side. You might not want it on there. You might not want it on the credit report because people who aren't going to dive that deep will see it and go, yikes. So yes, verification letters work for bankruptcy, foreclosures, tax liens, medical collections, judgments, child support, late payments on the credit card, defaulted student loans. They're all at the mercy of having to verify, validate, and document that they're accurate, factual, current, correct, and verifiable within the time frame, or else they are deleted from the credit profile. So yeah. You can try to send that bankruptcy court thing. You read that stuff and went down that road. Yeah, you can try sending that to the bureaus, going, see, they don't report, I demand you delete it. And the bureaus will go, what the hell are you talking about? We got it from LexisNexis. It's a public record. So some people do end up getting them deleted that way. Some don't. Honestly, investigation letters just work the best. Oh, you're welcome, Emmanuel. Keisha says, hello, how do I get remarks deleted for a late payment on a closed account? If by remarks deleted, I'm assuming you mean like the late payment points on the credit report. You do that through investigation letters. Pure and simple stuff. Yeah, you want to send, verify, validate, and document that it's accurate, factual, current, correct, verifiable today. And if not, then by law, that sucker gets permanently deleted from the credit profile like it never happened. So How you like them apples? All right. Yeah, awesome. You got this though. You totally got this, Keisha. You're gonna rock this out. I feel good about you. Holly says, will a credit coach help with someone who's got a collection account for a medical bill that Medicaid should have paid for? Doesn't matter how long it's been. Yeah, there is like a billing threshold, like time frame that, honest to God, if it ever, it all of this crap goes back to court challenges. I mean, that's what it all goes down to. Someone sued someone somewhere sometime over something. So there's like a threshold of time that they'd consider reasonable for having Medicaid sorted out, and after a while, they're like, "Dude, you should have done something about this back then." So, realistically, yeah, we help with the collections. I guess that was a really long-winded way of saying that, but yeah, us coaches, FICO certified credit coaches at Credilife, can help you with the collections. Kat says, "How do I eviction off my credit? I wrote them letter to settle, but they don't respond." Well, that's because they're obviously not too bright. What I would do, Kat, is I would do investigation letters with the bureaus, and if you feel like doing the credit flood, I believe we get an eviction letter in there. Otherwise, hire Credilife, and we'll crush it for you. That's what we do. Jess says, I have debts from 7 years ago that turned into charge-offs. I paid two of them. Still have the paperwork from collection agencies. I settled. Which letter do I send? Just send investigation letters to the bureaus. You'll be good. Can you assist with student loans? Not only can we assist with student loans, we have one specialist, Tyler, on our staff. That's what he does all day, every day is student loan work. Yeah, and he's legit. He's the real deal. Ty's the real deal. All right. Oh no, Pat, you're rocking it. Jasmine says, "Hey, Jeremy, I got a private student loan through my old credit union. I'm making monthly payments, but when I look at the credit report, it says the account's closed. Oh, it said that for a while. Should I try to challenge it? Yeah, yeah. If I'm up to date and I'm doing good and I'm making payments and I'm on time every month and I didn't have any lates on it, I'd go and I'd yell and scream at the credit union, going, 'Hey, report this.' Now, if it did have lates at some point in time, don't push that. Instead, you'd want to go to the bureaus and do investigation letters. So it's up to you, Jasmine, kind of how you want to rock that one out. Chris says, what do I need to do to delete late payments from open accounts? Late payments are 11 with Cap One, 4 with Best Buy, and 4 with student loans, all from 18. Good standing now, but it's hurting me. Which investigation letters to the bureaus that they're reporting to. That's it. Investigation letters to the bureaus they're reporting to. That's totally what I would do. I wouldn't go at the creditors, particularly Cap One. Cap One's got a nasty habit of if you poke them too many times, they'll close your account. All right. Good question. Great questions tonight, you guys. By the way, I'm having a good time. This is fantastic. Is it? You guys, let me know. Give me some ones in chat. Give me some thumbs up if you find this valuable. If you think this is educational and valuable, let me know. It's very affirming for me. Kat says, how do I get help fixing my credit? Trying to save to get in a house. Well, I'll tell you, if you want to have a coach, a FICO certified credit coach. If you want me, now I warn you, I'm a bit of a wise ass. I'm super direct and blunt. A lot of people think it's rude. It's not rude. I really care about you that much. It's passion. But if you'd like to have me, go to www.bookcoachjd.com and I drop my link in there, and we'll schedule up a consultation because I don't want you to be like, yeah, I just want to sign. I want to make sure that we can help you. So what we'll do is we'll do a consultation. There's no cost for the consult. The idea behind it is to see if it's a fit, to see if it's good for you. And we'll talk about what's on your credit specifically, not these general broad things like I do for a video. We'll talk about your goals. That's crucial. Saving for the house. What else? What else do you want? What's your time frame? Things like that. We'll get specific. And then we'll put together a plan and a set of steps, action items, and what services could be used to get your score and profile in position. Not only for that goal, but my guess is you might want other things in life. Maybe you want a car. Maybe you dream of opening a business. Maybe, there's so many things. There's so many things. Credit's used for so much. And that's in a consultation. We go through and we look at all of them because if your goals are specific, the steps and the path and what I put together for you as your coach is also specific. So you can tell me, look, I want this, and this, and I can put the path together for all those things. In my career, I've been in credit and banking for 28 years. I've held every position from a teller in a bank up to the CEO of a mortgage corporation and everything in between. I've never had anyone ever follow my advice and fail. and I definitely wouldn't let you be the first. So what I say when I say talk to me about your goals, I don't want to just hear about the house. I want to hear about how much. I want to hear about, is it going to be a starter home? Are you looking down the road? What are you going to be driving? And all these things. So yeah, it's if you'd like to do a consultation, www.bookcoachjd.com, or just click the links. I dropped it in chat. It's at the top there. It's awesome. Thanks, Kat. All right, Lakeisha is there. Oh, you're welcome, Jess. You're welcome, Jasmine. One more question. Hey, this is what I'm here for. Ask, ask, ask. You got a pro coach working for you right now. All right. One more question. Do I need to dispute the items included in my bankruptcy or just dispute bankruptcy? Beautiful question. Yeah, they're going to be, think of it like they're being reported or held by different places. Like the bankruptcy itself, it's the courts who are saying, yeah, that happened. And over here, TransUnion's being told by Capital One, yeah, that happened. And so you'll want to go to all the different places. You want to dispute all the things. And if it ends up that you got 30 on your letter, well, you got 30 on your letter. Okay, life happens. We're good. It's nice as the rounds go, ideally those letters are getting shorter and shorter because you're getting things deleted. So yeah, dispute the bankruptcy, not necessarily dispute, investigate. I even though they're sometimes used really interchangeably, I use the term investigate because if I'm disputing, I'm only going to dispute when it isn't yours. If it was fraud or something like that. Otherwise, we're never, Credilife's never going to send a letter going, this isn't mine because, hey, congratulations, it's yours. But what we're doing is we're exercising your rights under the FCRA, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And we're saying, hey, whether it's hers or not, you have a legal obligation upon demand to prove it. And guess what? We're demanding it. Prove it or remove it. All right. Awesome question. All right. Thumbs up. Things are good. Very informative. Wonderful. Is there a certain, Nikisha says, is there a certain amount of time I should wait to ask companies to remove accurate late payments? Well, companies don't typically remove accurate late payments. Goodwill letters are actually super uncommon to be successful. You can try. I mean, like, let's say you had one late on your Discover card that you've had for 11 years, and 2 years ago you had one late because you were going through a tough time, and you've paid on time since then, and you contact them. Yeah, they're likely to give you a one-time courtesy and delete it. But if you've had 9 student loan lates on your thing, no, they're not going to do squat for you. So it kind of depends what you've got. It's not the first, literally, that's a Hail Mary pass. Going for a goodwill adjustment or whatever, that's a Hail Mary pass. That means literally you've tried all the other ways that are actually the real ways to fix your credit, and they didn't work, and you're going, might as well try this. So hope that helps. Chris says, is it the same letter for closed accounts and collection accounts that have been fully paid off? Yep. You just want to ask about different stuff. But yeah. Stephanie, I'm discouraged about an account that was deleted and settled. It then reappeared to a bureau where it never reported. Since it's so recent, won't the discrepancy be minimal info they report? No, the discrepancies, no, it's going to cause a massive impact, actually, because it just got reported. It's a new negative. These bureaus have no responsibility to follow suit with each other. They've got no responsibility to report the same things. They're 3 separate companies. That's like saying, well, American Airlines should really have to honor Northwest Airlines or Delta Airlines' prices. No, that's not how it works. And that's not how that works. So yeah, it's not going to be minimal. It's going to hurt on the bureau that it hits. I did say it. Awesome. Kat says, thank you. I'm signing on your site to make a point. Awesome, wonderful. I look forward to talking to you. Julie says, how long does a late payment affect your credit? I've got one from 2019. Well, technically 7 years and 180 days. That's how long it affects you. 7 years, 180 days. The positive thing is every month that it gets older, it affects you less and less. But here's the deal. Late payments, paying on time or paying late, accounts for 35% of your entire FICO score. 30% is balance to limit ratios on revolving accounts. Those are credit cards. 15%, well, that's history. That's time. How long you've had credit. 10% is blend of accounts. One kind is good, 2 kinds is better. Car loan, student loan, credit card, retail card, mortgage. One kind is good. One kind is good. been a long day. One kind is good. A few kinds are better. More kinds are even better than that. The final 10% of your FICO score is made up by recent inquiries over the last 12 months and extra weight given to recent activities over the last 12. So while an older 2019 late payment doesn't affect you as badly as if it had been in April of 2020, for example, it still affects you. And will it affect you in 2 years? Yep. 3 years? Yep. 4 years? Yep. 5 years? Yep. 6 years and 6 months from now? No, because it's a year old. That's about what I got on that one. Wonderful. Well, y'all, what I want to do is I want to wrap up, but I want to remind you, remember, the best way to investigate, the best way to dispute is always 100% of the time going to be in writing. You don't do this electronically. If you do it electronically, you give up a number of your rights. Remember, the laws that are on the books right now are there for a good reason. None of the info on your credit report's ever been verified or validated, not a lick of it. And due to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, you've got some consumer rights that allow you to go to the bureaus and go, okay, guys, prove it or remove it. It's like Johnny Cochran. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit and prove it or remove it. Chris says if all my late payments were actually late, there's no way to get them off or just dispute. Start with disputing. Start with disputing. Start with disputing. Perfect. All right, y'all, I'm going to wrap up a little bit. One last thing. Remember, join us every single night here in the free Credit Repair Advice Group at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time for the daily credit report. I'm every Wednesday night. If you like talking to me, FICO certified credit coach and founder of the free Credit Repair Advice Group, Jeremy Deysach. This is a good time to tune in. If you'd like to have me as your personal credit coach, go to www.bookcoachjd.com and sign up for a consultation. There's no cost for the consult. We'll talk about your goals, talk about your credit, put together a plan, steps, service items to get you in position for your goals. All right. I'm Jeremy Deysach, FICO certified Credilife credit coach. Thanks a lot for joining me tonight.